as of today, this unit has passed inspection. So what I'm going to do is give you just a thorough walkthrough of everything that I did to get us to the point where we could pass inspection. And if you are in need of something that is more in depth, exactly like how I landed these wires and the process that I took, as well as all the material that I had to get, all the different connections and bushings and the ground rods and all of the different type of wire, I can and have the material to produce a more in-depth video. If that's something that you guys would like to see, just leave it in the comments and I'll throw something together and give you that. So when the wires come in from the power company, which again, I'll remind you that everything else the power company will be doing, they'll be trenching, they'll put in the pad mount transformer, they'll come up through this box and they'll land their neutral here, and then they're hot. Now let me take this off. They're hot and they're hot right here, right? Everything else I've done, and it cost me roughly $1,300 for all the parts and for all the material that I needed in order to get this job done. What you see here is a meter base that I purchased from the local power company who will actually be installing the power. I also purchased 2 separate disconnect boxes from Lowe's. This was roughly $350, $400. These were a couple $100 a piece. And then I also got all of my additional, piping, my fittings, my lock nuts, my Nolax, my Ox-Gard, which is just an anti-corrosion basically material that you put on your exposed wire. What else did I get? I got my ground wire, my number 6 ground wire, some 1/2-inch PVC, just these little metal brackets, which I'll turn the camera down here and show you in a bit. Yeah, so I was able to get everything actually at Lowe's, or, other than the meter base. So I actually even got the wire at Lowe's. Let's walk through, kind of why I set this up this way and what it all took for me to do this. So the boxes are mounted onto the building with some C-channel. The reason this one up here is exposed is because I wanted to at least have a place where, it was mounted to the studs. And then on the back side, there's C-channel, one that goes this way, and then on this box, one that goes this way. But on this box, I actually did them up and down so that wire could go through in the back. Shout out to Mr. Michael for that advice. After mounting the boxes and getting these nice and level and really tight on the building, I then started on my ground wire. So it's important to note that when you have the disconnect, it becomes your main panel. So your main disconnect, meaning when you're running wire from your meter base to your disconnect and then to your panel inside, whether it be your shop or your house, is no longer your main panel. That is considered a sub panel, and that's important for this reason. You will actually bond your neutral and your ground in your disconnect rather than in your panel inside your shop or your house. And the reasons for those are, the reason that, from my understanding, is when the bonding of the ground and the neutral happens at the disconnect, it allows for the ground fault circuits inside the sub panel to actually act like they're supposed to. Basically meaning if there was an overload on a circuit, the breaker would actually trip inside the house or the shop. If you were to ground both the neutral and if you were to bond both the neutral and the ground inside the sub panel as well as on your disconnect, then you're potentially creating an avenue for residual current that is left after a ground fault is supposed to trip to electrify both the panel on the inside and this disconnect box, and you don't want that. So you want to separate on the inside your neutral and your ground. You want to take out the green screw and your inside panel. And I'll show you that when we get inside. So the other important thing here is your 2 ground rods. You can tell I've got one for each box. And the reason for that, you can do it this way, you can also do it a different way, is that I didn't want the ground rod to run through the meter base at all. In fact, the power company would most likely tell me I can't do that. So I chose to do 2 separate ground rods, which you have to have anyway, but I chose to do 2 separate courses or 2 separate runs of my number 6 bare copper wire, 1 to each disconnect. I could have just made it continuous and gone underneath the box, but I just did it this way and it passed inspection. So those rods are 5/8 inch and they're 8 foot long. So they're grounded, they're driven 8 foot down into the ground, and then there's a little acorn nut on them. They're called footballs sometimes, that essentially allow you to connect the number 6 wire to the rod. It goes then through the 1/2 inch PVC and into the boxes. Another thing that's required by code is on each panel, it's got your emergency disconnect sticker, service disconnect, whatever comes in the panel box, and then that they're labeled what they're for. So this one's for the house and that one's for the shop. Let's see, what else? The important part when you're connecting your wires is to obviously get your load and your line side correct when you're connecting to your disconnects. So what I mean by that is, imagine this is your load, right? So power comes into this box. Which way is the power going to go, right? It needs to go to the disconnect. Think of a light switch, right? So if it's in the off position, which is this bottom side, that's going to be the load. So load, and then when you turn this on, right, line. So if you just remember that when you're connecting it, to kind of think logically, how is this going to flow from a load perspective and then to a line? Where am I sending this power to? That's kind of how I thought about it. That helps tremendously. The other important step to remember is that as you cut and expose your wire, you're going to want to put Nolax or Ox-Gard on it, which I mentioned earlier is an anti-corrosion. And it also just helps the next guy out if, whoever's servicing it, if it's me or the power company or, an electrician, they have less of a tendency to seize up on you. The last thing on these 3 boxes, which is extremely important, is you need to make sure that you're tightening down your breaker lugs correctly. And what I mean by that is, after a lot of research, there's a technique basically that when you first initially seat your conductors, right, is you want to tighten, loosen, and then after you do that, you will be torquing down. So you'll need a torque wrench, and each one of these boxes call for the same actually. Foot-pounds per 250 pounds per inch. So tighten, loosen, and what that does is it allows the lug to actually seat on the conductors in a way that it won't move. There is some expansion and contraction that will happen just with time and weather. So really getting that good and seated is extremely important. It reduces the risk of arcing quite a bit. Okay, so we're here on the inside, and I want to show you what we've done. So this is a 200 amp meter, or 200 amp panel that I got from Lowe's. This was, I think, $220. And the 2 powers come in, right? And you probably noticed on the outside as well as on the inside, I wrapped one in red electrical tape. And the reason for that was just to give a significance or a difference to the power supply. It really has no indication other than potential safety down the line, and also just letting someone know, like, hey, this is the route for that side, for this power source, for this supply line. So it's more so just about the indication. So then we've also got our neutral that comes in and ties to the neutral bar. So what's important about this is, as you can kind of see right here, in this box itself, this is an additional ground bar that I purchased separately and installed. It's just 2 screws that then go directly to the box, therefore grounding the entire box. This ground is separate than what you typically would have. There's typically a green screw that goes right here. And what you would do is when you screw that in, it then grounds the box to the neutral bar. So your neutrals and your grounds are bonded in this panel. But again, because we have the disconnect, right, we want those 2 separate. So I purchased the separate, bar and installed it. My ground is to this bar and my neutral is to this bar. These are also tightened down with Nolax and Ox-Gard, or one or the other, to the torque specs on the box. They're listed right here on the label. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, like I said, this entire unit passed inspection as of today, and I'm really happy with it. And I hope that hopefully this video can bring some light to the how to do all this. And it's not that hard. It's just take your time and do your research, learn, but also like you can do it. It's not as intimidating as it may seem. So good luck to you, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the comments, and hopefully I can get back to you. We love you. Peace.